to choose what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
There are so many brilliant ideas on social media, but there are also so many people who think that what they are saying or doing or trying to put out is the right thing. So for me, I felt like it's somehow a waste of time, or a space that will consume and drag you into depression and confusion, but also, you know, many people have committed suicide. Maybe in Uganda it's not very well documented, but in Europe and America we have seen reports on how many people have committed suicide, more especially young people, because of social media bullying. So it's a reality, and you cannot really control it. However, I think it's a pattern of people really looking into themselves and trying to be, you know, have some kind of sympathy or empathy, that you have to understand someone from your own perspective, put yourself in one's shoes and say, if this guy has been like this and he's writing something like this or is reacting like this, and it's not only also about writing, so because not everyone puts their frustration in writing on social media. You might find someone walking and he's totally
talking by themselves. They're just
talking totally zoned out.
Can you imagine? These guys have done this.
And you'll be like, I might think, is he talking on the phone? Does he have an iPod in the ear? What's going on?
Yes.
Kumbe, the guy is like, you know, out.
Yes.
I think it's important that we try to help others, try to be, you know, supportive and ask questions, engage, and try to find out. We know people who have really had these bad situations, and they have got people around them who help them to get through
social
it.
support, yes.
Get them off social media for a certain time, get them the help they need, try to encourage them, try to, you know, reason with them. I think it's the best way to really deal with these kind of issues. But also I think there's a need for a special post-COVID trauma program for people.
Okay.
People will need that, and it might not really look like a good idea or it's something that, you know, we don't believe in psychologists here in Africa. When you tell someone go to a psychiatrist or go to a counselor, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Unless if you get your test results negative or positive, that's when you'll be like, okay, maybe I should go to a counselor, or you kill yourself.
Because our culture is really, I meet fights on the street, we kick it up. Hey, man, first I'm not seen you for one day.
But we end up in trouble. We end up in trouble. I think we really need to find some time and space to really help ourselves. Even if you can recognize it, you know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not and this is not my area, but for me it's my observation, because I work with artists, I work with audiences, I am an arts manager. I understand the stress levels, I understand the mental fatigue that it's getting to me, you know, me personally, and also many others I know. I think it's something that we really need to pay attention to, and I know we don't want to throw responsibilities here, but it starts with us as well. You know, like you, Eddie, I tell you to go vaccinate yourself. You say, no, I'm going to the gym. You know, so we understand each other. I don't go to the gym, so me, I need the vaccine. You know, you'll be like, I'm going to the gym. That's my vaccine. It works. It works that way. We understand ourselves, and then when we find ourselves in need, when you realize that you're doing certain weird things that you're not familiar with yourself, you seek help. Find someone you can comfortably talk to and engage with, and try to get them to help them. And also for those that people come to you, that's also another issue where someone comes to you for really emotional support.
Yes, and then you take the information when they have told you, and you say, can you imagine Faisal came and told me this? Yet the guy has come to you, or she has come to you in confidence, knowing that if I give my information here, it's safe.
Exactly.
Yes.
We also need, when someone comes to me and tells me, Faisal, this is ABCD, I need to be able, I don't need to be like a doctor who signs a confidential NDA, whatever, but you need to be able to safeguard someone's identity, safeguard someone's issues and problems. That way, we'll have less cases. We'll have a community of people that is really interested and supportive of each other. But if we just throw stones and words and stuff like that, we're going to have a community of zombies. And it's not going to work, you know.
Well, this is a creative industry talk, and we're talking some really serious stuff, guys. You know, you've got to be able to think. And if you see a brother walking on the street talking by themselves, it's okay to go and say, hey bro, just, are you okay?
Yeah.
I just want to check to make sure, Faizo, are you okay? We do this, and you know, when you see a person going on the street, I like to do that. One day I found Jaffa, my friend Jaffa Remo, walking, just unbeknown to him that I was even calling him, just walking. So I said, hey, son of Amin. He wasn't hearing. So I shouted, said, you, secret box of Amin. He wasn't hearing. So I almost insulted him. So when I almost insulted him, Jaffa woke up and says, hey, you think I was hearing you? I was far in thinking.
Yeah.
I said, Jaffa, what's the problem? He says, no, I'm just thinking. I'm just, I was walking in the community and I saw this girl walking. So then I used to see her as a young girl coming to the kiosk. Then all of a sudden, when we were coming on to COVID, she was pregnant. So I joked with her. I said, when was the wedding? I didn't get the wedding. Then she said, you are going to be invited. In my mind, I just realized that she was pregnant by somebody during COVID. So his mind flashed back to his daughter who is young. I'm like, this can happen to me if I'm not off all the time. So he was thinking about all the problems like that. So, but you see, the point I'm trying to make is that I tapped onto Jaffa and Jaffa was able to talk. And so we caught up there quickly and went off. So we're saying to everyone out there that please, if you find Okila walking on the street talking by himself or, you know, doing things he's not known to be doing always before COVID, you know, please BC before COVID, please make sure you go to them, talk to them and hear them out. Don't just make assumption and say, you know what, this killer has gone mad. We found him doing push-ups on the road. Man, I do push-ups all the time. Doing it on the road doesn't mean I failed to pay the gym price or the gym whatever membership, but it's just because I want to encourage as many people as possible to do health and fitness. So yeah, tap that person, tap that sister on the road, on the creative industry. But also more importantly, I found Zenson on the street. So Zenson is walking with his head like this. You know, I hadn't seen Zenson for a long time, and you know, Darwinton Road. I'm like, hey, Zenson! Then he walked past me. Then I think he flashed me in that I've seen somebody I know. Then he walked by, hey, it's you, hey! We hugged on the street. We did the bongering like we always do. You see, Zenson was unable to tell me, man, I'm coming from a meeting, but you see, as a creative man, I've just come from a meeting and they've told me something and I stick on my mind, so I'm thinking about it, man. I'm, you know, we artists, when you think like this, because we're not working, people think you're mad.
No, but Senson is a professor, so he's always in this zone of thinking. So that one we know. Even it will be difficult for me to be like, is Senson okay? No, he's always okay. So don't worry about
But we can't assume he's okay because COVID could have hit him.
But I would like to really, I think also thank some of the folks that have helped people. Even before COVID, before COVID, there were some artists who were really going through a lot of struggling. You know, we've seen some of them paraded on social media, on television, embarrassing. It's really, really bad. You know, you put someone on TV because they're, you know, because of a mental problem.
And they are doing it because they want to make money off them.
So I think it's really bad. I think it's really good for those who did that before, came out and helped those that in need. I think it's great. But also let's be aware that after this period, it's going to be more, we're going to have more cases of weirdos, and we need to be sure, we need to be aware that we need to help us stand in for each other. But I think the other thing is that, you know, it's also something we need to cultivate out of our system. Remember, I think when we were still young kids, when you see a mad person, someone running mad, people used to throw stones. So the way people find a dog, sometimes I find it really weird. You find a dog walking and someone gets a stone and they want to hit it. I'm like, what has it done to you? You know, like they used to do that also to mad people in the villages. Oh, they throw stones, they throw. I think that has ended nowadays because sometimes
civilization came in. We began to understand each other.
So I think it's important that we also look at ourselves and see if someone is in need, if someone is mad, it's not because they like it. It's not because it's their wish. It's a mental, you know. And
no, you have been singing, Faizo. You have been singing. You know, I just come from doing an interview with an artist, and the artist told me something very interesting. He says, COVID was very stressful for me, the period, but as an artist, it took me time. But I thank God I'm married to a producer. So one day we woke up and says, what are we going to do? Our concerts are all cancelled. The festivals are all cancelled. Life has become, we have 2 children. What are we going to do? So it was difficult for me, and but my producer decided that we should write songs and produce songs. So she said, looking backward in hindsight today, I have produced more music than even written songs in a way that I would never have written songs. My songs are now more consciously, relatable. People know. But there are people, Faisal, out there, artists, who have not been able to get the chance to do so because they were locked in their own space and they don't have many people to talk to. So right now they are really stressed. They have no music to go out. And the way the things are in Uganda is that even if you write a song right now, there's what they call pay for play, payola. Payola has always been there for so long, so many artists are stressed, others are still paying DJs to play their music, but the DJs also have nowhere to play the music because the places are closed. So the DJs are collecting money from here. So it's a survival for the fittest, and this is stressful.
And just imagine,
everyone.
artists who don't have studios at home, who don't have producers, they have to pay per production. Where do you get the money to pay for studio time? Where do you get? I think it's really very good, very interesting, but also it takes us now back to the people who are managing them. We, the people who are into the presenters.
Well, that's our next discussion. The managers.
So we, the managers, if we can get into that, there is a huge burden. There is a huge stress that is going on within the managing industry, within the people who are doing this whole work. And one of the things that I really find bothering most of the managers, getting them really stressed day and night, is the guilt. The guilt of not knowing whether you're doing or whether you're doing enough.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like you look at your artists and be like, damn, they are broke, and it's my responsibility.
And the money comes from them, for the manager to plan for them, because the manager also wasn't very smart enough to plan for some of these people.
So if the artist is not working, it means the artist is not earning. If the artist is not earning, you're not getting your share. So both of you and your families and everyone around you is broke. And who is to blame? The manager. So maybe the artist is not blaming the manager, but you as the manager, if you're responsible enough, you feel that guilt of being not being able to do enough.
Or you were not able to do enough.
You're not able to do enough. And sometimes people have realized, and thanks to COVID, most people have realized that they were actually not good enough. And that carries on with them.
That's a blast from COVID, though. That you can realize that you are not doing.
Because they saw the gaps. You're like, oh my God, how did I miss out on being on YouTube? How did I miss out on putting my music on iTunes? How did I miss out on putting my music for distribution? How would have the artists would be earning now? Because everyone was consuming content online. You sign up on YouTube, you sign up on iTunes, you sign up on Netflix. People were missing out on lots on that revenue. So the artist is really, the manager is really feeling this burden of like, I think I wasn't doing good, enough. And then there's also this pressure. So if you feel guilty that you're not doing enough, then you're getting into this pressure of trying to deliver from nowhere.
And they themselves is the pressure that is making the managers mad.
So they want to
do something.
They want to do something so that the artist can survive. And there's no way, because there's no room.
Because also when the artists survive that thing and it comes out, they're going to be fired. Some of them already fired before.
So you find that you didn't build a YouTube channel. Let's talk about music. Of course, other art forms are also there. But let's talk about music. You didn't build a YouTube channel for the artists. You didn't sign them up on iTunes. You didn't put them on any streaming service. So you're not earning revenue. Now you're under pressure to get them. Everyone's telling you, oh, we're earning from YouTube. Kansim is telling you that. The other one is telling you that. They're like, YouTube, what is YouTube? They start signing up. And then you need revenue. You need money.
To produce these things.
You need to produce it.
Exactly. Put it up there.
You have nothing to show.
You in a state of
the pressure. So then they get into this mood of feeling, am I relevant? Am I really a good manager? Am I still relevant to this artist? What can I do? You feel you need to deliver, but you cannot deliver. You feel that you're being put in a corner, and this is a very bad situation for managers. So now they get into this, now I need to focus, I need to do more, I need to do better, then they keep on sleepless nights.
So Faisal, just before we go for the second break, what should managers do? Also, I want to throw in some part before you answer that question. also managers, artist managers, musicians managers, please, you need to invest in what you're doing. You can't call yourself a manager when in literal sense you're just a guy who holds the phone when the artist is going on stage to sing and you're calling yourself a manager. That's not a manager. You are a personal assistant. Okay, there's a huge difference between a personal assistant and a manager. A manager is the person who has a business mind, business operation procedures, knows what to do, how to do it, and plans for the artist. So please, if you have been working and holding the phone of an artist, don't expect and taking their money and banking onto their account whenever they get it. You are just using a wrong title, and now you are stressed because you don't know what to do, because in the first place you are not a manager. So I think let's use COVID to turn around the situation, to know what being a manager is, to know what being a producer is, to know what being a phone runaround person is, you to know what being a personal assistant is. Because if you're a personal assistant, your job is to help the artist. Okay,
dress up.
So yes, dress up. No, that is also the work of you know,
and design. No,
design.
they can't have too many people. They don't have that finances.
I mean,
let's give a few. Okay.
But that's how
you can start with the personal assistant. You can start with the personal assistant who dresses you up, holds your phone. Like I was telling a friend of mine that I don't know. I'm not saying, but one of the things that really saddened me when radio died was my remembrance 6 months before. I was at an event where he was performing. Of course, he had been at Baimba, and then when he arrived, he came in his convertible, parked, waiting for Weasel to come to arrive so they could go on stage, and there was this guy holding his bag, you know, in the next seat. And he had, you know, these days they wear those bags. I don't know why they wear those bags that come
the
from.
man bag.
Yeah,
man bag.
I don't know what they call them.
They're called man bag.
I'm old school, so I don't know how they call them.
So
he was holding this bag, and then radio parked the car and then did this. This guy, in 1 second, he had moved, like he had opened the door, got out, got into the bar, opened the bottle of Red Label and put it in radio's hand. He put like, put the hand back. The guy picked the bottle, put it back in the, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is this guy's job to hold this bottle? And when this guy puts out the hand, he knows that he needs the
because he's a bottle holder. He's
the bottle has
a
to
bottle
be there.
holder. So they are like trying to do what the cup holder is in the
movie industry.
Yes, of the king.
It was fascinating at one end, but it was also sad to see that someone can do that job at midday. You're feeding an artist with alcohol. That hard liquor, alcohol at midday. And you think,
and you're very faithful to that job,
and you think you're not contributing to their failure, you know. So these are the things that we also have to think of. But that's another topic.
That's another topic for another day. But I was saying, so in summary, before we take a break and come back to discuss audience, what should managers do now that we know where the problems are?
I think it's not rocket science. They know where they are failing.
Faisal, you are saying it's not rocket science. You might find an artist there.
They know where they are failing.
I've interacted with some of them and they say, tell me, to be honest with you, I don't know what to do.
No, they know where they are failing. So they have to make sure that they understand their responsibilities, and the information is out there. You don't need to be, you know,
no, you share some. Don't say the information is out there, because Faisal, you're an artist manager. You know these things. Why don't you just share some? Give some nuggets of truth.
You know, like for this, you know, the mental health issues, the guilt, the relevancy, the failures, and the pressure. I think we have to have conversations with our artists, because sometimes, yes, the artists are our responsibilities as managers, but they are also part of the conversation, because most of the time, I can borrow the quote from the doctor that was arrested for killing Michael Jackson. He said that, yes, you can blame me for being his personal doctor who failed to secure him when he was dying, but the fact is, you could not say no to Michael Jackson. You get what I mean? If Michael Jackson needed a drug, his doctor would not say, no, Michael, I'm not going to give you that drug. He'll kick you out. He'll be like, go, leave. So you have to have a conversation with your artists. Where did we go wrong?
Meaningful conversation.
Meaningful conversation. How did we do things? Where can we focus? you know, because you cannot say everything is not possible. You might find yourself in a situation whereby you did not do a good enough, you don't feel relevant, you're feeling the pressure, but if you sit down with your artist, you could find solutions. You can put yourself together. If you need to renegotiate your shares and contracts, you can also do that, because you are all put in the same box. Yeah. You need to help each other. You cannot do each other's job. And if you are an artist, you feel like your manager let you down, then you have to have a conversation with your manager and say, what can we do? Do we each other understand our roles? How can we help each other to get back when we are steady? I think this whole thing, like most people say, it was a reset button. It was indeed a reset button for so many people. You could really reset yourself and say like, okay, let's take this hit. Let's take this blow. But when all things get back to normal, even when they don't, but we have to be prepared so that the next phase of whatever pandemic comes out from India or Nepal, whatever, is not going to hit us the way this one has done. Okay. Because by then, we will be prepared. I think it has to be a conversation.
Wow. Well, artists, that one there is for you. And I think if you are listening to Faisal quite very carefully, he's just giving you something very fundamental to helping you change the way you have been operating with your artist. And what Faisal is simply saying is that think about your actions and don't fear to have a conversation with your artist. Don't fear to talk to the person. Even if he's a president, if they are making a mistake and you cannot tell them, it's better to know that I told the person this and they didn't listen to me, and so I opted to go out because I was fired because I told the right thing. So that if the person goes down, they are aware that at least they were told. Other than you being there and fearing for being fired and you fear security of your job, but when in essence you're dragging down the artist, because you are supposed to have this sense of responsibility of helping that artist remain relevant to the time. We're going for a break, and when we come back, we will end the show with Faisal talking about audiences, people who go for concerts, people who talk just loose talk on the streets. The borders will discuss everybody and everyone. And also these guys who make too much noise on television talking about other people's businesses and they are not aware. All right, we're going to come back and we'll talk about audiences and what kind of stress levels do we have? What is the mental state of all the artists, or rather of all the audiences around, because they've also not been able to go out, not know what is going on, and they are also stressed. How do we help them going forward? We are all stressed. Stay right there. Be right back after the break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. Welcome back to the program. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okela, and in the studio is Faizo Chiwewa. We are talking about the mental state, and I want to ask the team to put that question of the topic of discussion up there so that you can ask a question if you have any, and we'll be able to respond to you. Please put the question up, the topic of discussion up there so that people can follow. We're talking about the mental state and the mental health of artists, managers, and audiences, and we've discussed the mental state of audiences. Just keep that question up there so that people can see it. The mental state of artists, we've talked about it, and we've talked about the current mental state of managers and the things they're dealing with. And Pfizer was given quite a very fantastic, advice there for those who are wise to take that. It says a word is many for a fool, but it's few for a wise person. So I hope you've gotten it. And I think that you can pick a leap from there by saying, have a meaningful conversation with your artist. Let the artist know that you're making the right decision. And also the difference between a bottle carrier, okay, and a perfume carrier, and then a phone carrier. You're not a manager, okay?
And the delivery. And
the delivery person who delivers chicken and whatever. You're not a manager, okay? You are just a manager is a person who strategically think about the business and look at the investment of the artist. That's what it is, okay? That's business. It's the person who look at the communication and the marketing strategy of the artist and the craft that we have, and how can we monetize it, making money more. You don't wait for the pandemic to come and then you start planning for those things. You do them early enough so that we are able to go forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing Faisal back on the show, and Faisal, we want to talk about the audience situation.
Yeah.
We've had a situation where audiences discuss matters of art very loosely, and they don't seek to understand some of the information, but also I don't blame them. I would want to say that we have not been able to help them understand this quite more. We need to start having a conversation. And the audiences have fed the frenzy of those who demoralized artists, morale by just discussing the issues obviously out, so that the people who listen or watch some of these programs can start to have a conversation about it. In the end, it demoralizes the artist, it brings their spirit down, it destroys them completely. So if you need the audience, if the audience need the artist to perform, then we need to be sure of what we're discussing about this audience. Do we know whether it's true? Can we participate in this discussion? But more importantly, what I want you actually tackle in the last minute of the show is, who is an audience?
Yeah.
What is the understanding of the art and the artist and the creativity? And are they also stressed by them, by the way themselves, that they're not having buy-in, so they take it and start abusing Pfizer because they don't know what it takes for them to have?
Yes, sympathetic. I think audiences are humans, just like us, me and you. We are an audience of a certain artist. They are our audiences when we have something. We have an audience now that is really, engaging in on this whole creative talk conversation. But also, we have people that we follow, and we go to their concerts, whether we like it or not, whether we have money or not. We follow them because we love them. We are fans. I think we are all audiences at one time, at one point, every day, all the time. I listen to certain music of artists on a daily because I love their music, and I would pay for the ticket if they perform. So I wouldn't say that audiences are a class of people who are blue or green, but we are all part of that conversation. The challenge to that, the state, I would say, audiences are funny. And what was there before COVID, artists always had a lot more money than their audiences, because you get 1,000 people contributing to one person, and you take all that money. But you take that money because those people have come to give you that money. But the person now, the audience now that was giving you that money is richer than you. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are rich because they have some sustainable, stable income. So they can continue to earn out of their jobs, and they were taking part of that small earning to support you as an artist, and you had more, but you were not relating that much. So I think what has been happening for the artists who understood that from the beginning, that I need to be part of this, part of my audience. I need to, I've seen artists who have fan groups. you know, artists who have WhatsApp groups of their audiences that follow them. They have conversations on what's coming up. Can you do a small concert? Can you do something? They're engaging. They know what the artist is going through. They know where the situation. They are also stressed. They need to do something. So they need to be part of a conversation altogether. But audiences are everywhere. But where are we now in terms of the mental state? I think some of the audiences they have mixed feelings. They're not really sure, more especially you know, locally here. They're not sure whether when the events open, they will be safe to go out there and mix with everyone. Yeah. They are not sure whether if they don't go, they'll be missing out on the new on the normal culture that they used to engage. And some are also not sure whether they will trust the events that they organize, because most of the time they're not sure about the security. They're not sure whether they will be raided. They're not sure. So there are those mixed feelings from audiences. They want to go out, others don't want to go out. Others feel safe, others don't feel safe. Others feel like they might be you know, beaten up, others think that it's their right to go out. So there's that mixed you know, mixed feelings within the audiences.
Well, and Faisal, if that's the case, which I agree with you, I want to just drive your attention quickly just before we, you know, wind up the show, to what should the audiences do if they are not safe, if they feel they're not safe. What should the audiences do? That's number one. And two, what should you as the promoter, as the curator of the event do, or the manager of the event do?
Yeah.
And what should government do to ensure that, because without the events, without audiences, there's no money.
Yeah, but I don't think everything government has to play a role, and I also think that it's a double responsibility. Like a presenter, Bayimba has taken the bullet to say we are not going to organize any public event because we are aware of the safety and the health concerns of our audiences. We don't want to put anyone in any kind of situation where they contract a virus because we irresponsibly did so, because we wanted to prove a point or to do something. At the same time, we are aware that we have an industry to serve. So we find ourselves in a situation where we want to work with some artists and then see, can we do something for the artists within the SOPs, within the rules and regulations of the health of the health ministry, that we have a few artists that we can work with a few audiences, a few fans, so that at least each one has an opportunity to enjoy what they're missing for so long. So it's not a huge, massive like we used to do, but at least we are doing something for for the artists and also for the audiences. And I think what the audiences have to do is also to take the responsibility. I'm not an advocate for vaccination. I'm not saying, oh, people go out and vaccinate yourself. I don't want to be responsible for saying, Faisal, you told us.
But you vaccinated yourself today.
No, I don't want to be responsible for people dropping on the street and then you say, Faisal is the one who said, like, you see, I vaccinated myself.
Yeah, but I want Faisal to talk about it since of school. He didn't collapse when he took it.
It's my choice, my responsibility.
Yeah,
but I think it's important that as audiences, that if, inshallah, if we happen to open up, we need to have a responsible audience as well. Be mindful that there are other people who are not necessarily safe, or who need some level of respect in terms of their health environment or their health space, so that we are not just going to let loose. Of course, getting loose is part of the entertainment, but I think it's also important, if you need to take care of yourself, to make sure that you observe the SOPs, to make sure you wear a mask or whatever it is, in an environment where you are allowed to do so, it's important that we do so that we keep each other safe. For the moment, let's continue with our underground house parties, because they're happening and it's great fun, but it's not going to be the only thing. We need to get out of the underground and get back in the public spaces. We continue with our tours, touring Uganda. I think it's a great initiative through the tourism board. I think it's good that Ugandans are taking this chance.
But can the audiences also tour? Because some of those tours, I've been watching, I'm not seeing the bus. I'm seeing the
but the tours
of the elitists only.
No, the tours they're doing,
yes.
Like you go to Murchison, you go to Kidepo, you go to some people have not, they don't know where Chiboga is. You need to take them to Chiboga to see where Nakaunde came from. You need to, we need to see our country. Honestly, it's very somehow not nice to find that many Ugandans don't know their country. And I think we need, as presenters and managers, take this opportunity to, I would like to see many Ugandans come to Lunkuru, to see the island, to enjoy the nature, to see the monkeys and the birds and see
that animal which we couldn't see in Lunkuru that cries very loud at night.
I think there's beauty in our country that we can explore, even if it's not about concerts. Have a few acoustic sets, have a few people, but let them enjoy their country. I think this could be something that we can venture into as audiences if there's an opportunity. And these tours, local tours, are not very expensive. So you can also sign up to some, they look out. The only challenge that people fear to tour, I don't know why. I think it's expensive for white people. And
well, because it has been presented to us as not a
white activity.
Yes, it's not a very affordable thing, and of course, nobody is giving us packages that are, saying, by the way, you can have your Luwombo in this place, and it's still okay, and you can. So maybe it's about packaging, like product development and packaging continues to be a big problem in Africa and in Uganda.
That's true. I mean, also we look at how much people earn, and then you see if you're to go for a trip. I always tell my colleagues at the office, like, who's going on holiday? And they'll be like, my leave is in 2 weeks. So I ask them, what are you going to do? I don't know, I'll go and see my grandmother. And I'm like, why don't you go to Murchison or Kidepo? It's really nice animals there. Like, what? You're like, what
are you saying? That's how much dollars? How much shillings?
But it's not, it's not. There are local packages.
I think there's a lot to say on that one, Faisal. In fact, if I may interject, okay, the reason whatever you've just said is that also, some of these places, they're priced in dollars, we earn in shillings. The disparity between the shillings and the dollar is great.
Yeah. And I don't know why they keep doing that, because I heard the government passed the law, no dollar quotations, but even the government itself charges us in dollars. So now it is funny. They passed the law. But I think it is really important that as audience, we in the creative arts, we are still struggling. And we are not, or we don't want you to sit back in your homes and say, if the concerts are not open, I'm not going to go anywhere. I think there's still a lot. There's still a lot that you can do within this country. You can go anywhere. You can visit places. You can tag on to your own fellow artists. Cultivate some of your fans and tell them, hey man, why don't you go and do some acoustic for us? We are 10, we are 15, we are 20. Within the SOPs, within the numbers. If the government allows 200 people, why don't you do 50? You're still in the safe.
You can even do 190.
Just do 50. It's good enough. 50 people, you enjoy the artists, you enjoy the scenery, you have fun, tour the country. I think there's a lot that the audiences can do, but we also understand not everyone has an opportunity to have access to this kind of, luxury, I would say. Our leisure culture is much more into social areas of drinking and being in a bar and dancing. But then when it comes to where bars are not allowed to operate till a certain time, they're actually operating, I'm told.
Well, we don't know whether they have been closed or they have been operating. Really, I think government has been mocked by this.
So I think I think it's that we audiences need to get out also, so that when we come back, we don't want you all gone to
Butabika. I mean, Butabika will be full because everyone is going to be mad. Already we're seeing a lot of mad people. First of all, there's a joke around that most politicians are actually mad at the moment. Because
I don't do politics, so I don't know.
I'm saying the joke around is that most of them are mad.
I don't know politicians.
They were stressed. They're used to huge money and the money is not coming and they went into campaign. But if the politicians are stressed, the artists are stressed, and the community is stressed, we don't want to end up with a country full of mad people and mad women. Please, guys, heed to this advice and go out and enjoy yourself and be part of that. And Faisal, thank you very much for coming to the show today.
You're welcome.
Creative industry has come to an end. Just want to know, you mentioned something which I just stuck on my mind. You said the bars are operating. Then I thought about it. Maybe the artist they're saying the bar is closed because of the artist. Maybe if the artist is open, people are going to go. Maybe that is the reason. So the bar is closed by extension.
Let's say the bars are closed and nature is open. So get out, visit nature. It will do you good. You'll come back, get out of this chaotic city. The nature will do you good. Wow. And one of the places to go is, of course, come to Lunkul Island, go to Banda, go to Murchison. I love all these places. Go to Kidepo, wherever. It's our country, and it's cheap. It's affordable. So, yeah, let's get out.
Well, you've heard it from Faisal right there. Creative industry has come to an end. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being, great listeners and great viewers. We love you and we care about you. We want you to not run mad. That's why we bring you Creative Industry Talk. And next week, we will be talking about audiences. And not audiences, but I think, tell us what you want us to talk about next week. Write to us a comment. We want to hear from you, and we will be able to bring that topic. Tell us what is at the center of your core. What do you want to hear us talk about, and we will be able to bring it out. Until next week, stay blessed. It's a good night, everybody. It's a good morning everywhere you are, in whichever part of the world where you are. Creative industry has come to an end. Until then, God bless and stay focused. Don't be caught walking around like a madman because you are not thinking.